Hey everybody, and welcome to another exciting movie review here on Sell Me a Movie, a subcategory within Cavalier Studios where, of course, we go over movies that are either in theaters today, on streaming services, or even films that have been out for quite some time. So, with that, you can support the channel by clicking the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment whatever you want to comment down below. Just make sure it's about the film, or if you've seen the film, or if there's a film that you want me to see and go over. Again, this channel isn't so much as a professional critic as it is just a movie enthusiast. So, obviously, you guys will agree on some and disagree on others, and that's okay. That's what the comments are for. So, sit back and relax as we go over Godzilla x Kong.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
Now, of course, Godzilla x Kong is kind of like a 1.5, if you count Godzilla minus 1 of a Godzilla film released this year. The only remaining actors and actresses that are coming back to this film from the previous one is Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, and then Kaylee Hoddle. If you're not familiar with those names, Rebecca plays Eileen, Brian plays Bernie. He's the podcast guy that we saw in Godzilla vs. Kong. And then, of course, Kaylee Hoddle plays Gia, who, of course, is the native from Skull Island that we were kind of introduced to from Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, some of the new actor that we do get introduced to and kind of has a history with Eileen, his name is Dan Stevens is the actor, but the character's name is Trapper. Of course, they have a relationship back in college days, but of course that goes over later on during the film. Now, where this film takes place, it kind of takes place a few years after Godzilla vs. Kong. Kong is now settled in the not Middle Earth, but center of the Earth, while Godzilla is taking care of everything up on the front or on the top of Earth, basically. He is still the king of monsters. Now, what we do get introduced to is, of course, a second nature of a primate, home, culture-wise, in the center of the Earth, where, of course, he's known as the Scar King, which they'll go over in the film. But in layman's terms, he's basically the villain back in the day where he tried to overthrow humanity, try to destroy humanity, and it only took Godzilla to, of course, destroy him, trap him in the center of the Earth type deal. Now, a lot of critics are not really liking this film, but if you look at the audience score, it is up there. It's like 90%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes, and then there's a reasoning for that. It's not a movie for the critics as it is so much a movie for the fan base. When it comes to CGI, you're not really paying attention to it because of the fact that you just want to see big monsters, kaiju monsters, punching other kaiju monsters, kind of like Pacific Rim in a way, where you don't really... Well, you're not really paying attention to the storyline. You just want to see big things hit big things. When it comes to the actual humans in the film, there's not so much them anymore, as it's more focused on the kaijus themselves, because, again, this movie is all about the kaijus, which is a good thing because, of course, Godzilla vs. Kong, not saying that it was a bad thing to have a lot of human on-screen appearance, but in my opinion, we just wanted to see Godzilla and Kong destroy things. And I think the people and the writers and directors kind of understood that from the previous one, and that's what they gave us here. Yes, it does get cheesy in some elements as far as the ending goes, because there is a sequence where Kong smiles at Godzilla, Godzilla smiles at Kong, and there's a whole bunch of kaijus just smiling at one another, and I don't know, to me it was a little cheesy, like a head nod or subtle, like, okay, was perfectly fine, but no, they went with the full smiling at everybody type deal. But I digress. That's honestly probably the only negative thing I have to say about the film. Other than that, the film was very enjoying. It was very engaging. It did not feel like an hour and 50 minutes, I believe. And in all honesty, the CGI, again, you're not paying attention to. You're just looking for loud sounds and you're looking for fights. And that's exactly what this film brings, is it gives that entertainment to the audience. Who cares what the critics say? Because this film is all about the fan base and the fans. And they did the fan service well. So, again, I have not a lot to say about this film other than go see it in theaters, because unlike my last review on Ghostbusters, this is something that you would quite enjoy in the theater. And one other important element that I will say about this is the fact that it goes more into the lore for Gia and her tribe from Skull Island, because you do get to see more of them and you see a little bit more culture with them, and you learn more about what the center of the earth is, the natives as well, and what they kind of bring to the story. So it's good because you're discovering all of that information as well as gaining the knowledge of what you didn't get in the previous film. So I like that exploration. The one last thing I didn't like is I honestly don't understand the not so much the concept, but the understanding of why Monarch, the TV show on Apple Plus, was created. Don't get me wrong, I liked it because it brought more kaijus, it brought more Godzilla, but in all honesty, there is a certain element that Monarch brought, and that was the fact that if you spend a few hours or a full day in the center of the earth, that could result in years that you lost in Earth or on top, because time travels a little differently in the center of the earth. This one, you had the humans be there probably within half a day or a year, and then no time passed like how it did in Monarch, where it's years later, 2 years, none of that. It was basically the same day. So that I don't quite understand, but maybe they'll explain it later. I don't know. But overall, like I said, go and check it out, especially if you're a fan. This movie was made for the fan base, and make sure you do see it on IMAX. And if you have seen it, go ahead and leave a comment below. Like and subscribe. Make sure you click on the merchandise link down below where you can get this shirt as well as Sell Me a Movie shirt. Show as much support as possible. If you want to record your review and tag us in it, of course you can do that on social media, because we'd love to display it on a review of ours and kind of discuss your pinpoint and your point of view as well. And with that in mind, of course, we'll see you guys next time for the next review.